Wakenya, dear Kenyans, there is an unnatural misty blowing in the air in Kenya. It's not a good misty. I feel like many may suffer, many may die, but then again, maybe I'm wrong. But I feel that tonight, on the 24th of June, 2025, the eve of last year's Gen Z revolution, I feel like something is blowing in the air. Therefore, I've decided to address you. I'm a small person, so I'm going to address you because in the end, after everything is gone, or after everything has happened, the people who matter will address you. So, for small people like us, this is our time. This is our turn to talk. Bear with me. I want to let you know that I was a Cub Scout. And when I was a Cub Scout, one day I was at Uhuru Park during Jomo Kenyatta's times. And something crazy happened that night. A swarm of bees appeared from nowhere. And it just went woof. And you know what a swarm of bees would do to the massive crowd on the hill. Uhuru Park has a hill where people sit. The hoi polloi, watu reja reja, they sit on the grass to listen to the president. And then there is a pass-out parade. But on that day, a swarm of bees appeared from nowhere. And when it showed up in a crowd of people, there was pandemonium. People stepped on each other. Some people were, you know, what happens in a stampede. But I remained there. What I did after that is not important. But let me just say I was left with the ice cream cart as a young boy. My father could not afford the ice cream, but I was left with the ice cream cart. 1975. And then in 1979, here comes Moi. And during Moi's time now, I was a Boy Scout. And I was in the same spot. I was holding the flag for the Boy Scouts. So that when they come near the president, the dais, the listener, imagine you're where the president is sitting, and I'm standing on this side, and in between is the pass-out parade where there is all these military vehicles, you know, and servicemen and women pass. And while I was standing there, this time it was a cadet who wanted to show Moi that he had a lot of good skill in flying the plane. And so he took the plane and he came with it, shh, and then when he reached there, the plane went up. Man, the plane went up, straight up. The sound was left down there for us. But the plane went up and then it burst into flames. And then there was pandemonium. And people stumbled on each other. Some people were trounced. But I stayed there with the flag. And guess what I was left with? The ice cream cart. The guy who sells the ice cream cart was right there, and they ran away. And nilinusurika with the ice cream cart. What we did with the ice cream cart, let's not talk about it for now. It's not the time. Then let me also let you know, guys, that I went to school in downtown Nairobi. Yes, I was a student of Mr. S.K. Ravel. He was a police reservist, but we didn't know. But he owned a school downtown, somewhere there near Odeon, near Latema Road. And that's where I went to school for 4 years. And therefore, when I tell you I know Nairobi, I know Nairobi. I know how to play Pata Potea. And I know how to spot a thief. And I know how to spot who is gonna be pickpocketed and who is gonna be cheated of their hard-earned cash. I saw it day in, day out. I also saw it when we caught those thieves. I saw how mob justice was rendered and how some were killed even before the police came. So I know Nairobi, guys. I know Nairobi. But I recently was in Nairobi, and Nairobi has changed. Nairobi has a lot of people, a lot more people than there used to be. And the resources have dwindled. And therefore, the fight for these resources indeed is why we are where we are. Where are we? We are in a country that is being led by a president who, it appears, does not tell the truth or did not tell the truth. A president who seemed to have reneged on several things, and therefore a lot of people are unhappy. That's the truth. To make matters worse, the president impeached his deputy, and therefore his deputy left the government and is very bitter. Those are two things. So last year, there was the Gen Z revolution, which saw a few people, perhaps many, shot, maimed by the police. There were also policemen who got injured. Let's not forget that. If you're forgetting that, let me remind you, there was a police officer who was trying to throw away, to fire some tear gas. And the tear gas, what did it do? It launched into his gun or something. And it blasted his hand. And he lost the hand. So there were casualties on both sides. This is not to belittle the fact that the police maimed innocent people and killed innocent people. Far from it. This is just a reminder that that happened. So we are here on the eve of the Gen Z revolution. Is this now a Gen Z revolution memorial? I think it is desired that we commemorate that event. Yes, it is a memorial, but is it just going to be a memorial? Let me say this, guys. These are just facts. As we sleep tonight, there are some young folks who are going to bed knowing that tomorrow they're going to be in the demonstrations. As they sleep now, they don't know this is their last night. Tomorrow, they're going to be shot. Something is going to happen. Maybe they'll be abducted, and maybe we'll never hear from them. As we wait for tomorrow, tonight, there are some police officers who've received instructions to go to the city tomorrow and do whatever they can to prevent loss of property or life. And they've been given firearms. Firearms and the very popular thing, tear gas. And as they sleep tonight, there are some officers there who don't know what they'll do tomorrow. Because, and I'm not speaking on their defense. But when you have a gun and it is loaded, it is a dangerous situation. Anything can happen. You can drop the gun and it goes off. You can do so much. Therefore, there are officers tonight who don't know that tomorrow they're going to kill someone. Some may kill intentionally, but then there are some who may not kill intentionally. They're going to take a life tomorrow. A sad situation. But let me remind you guys what's also going to happen the day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow should be a very good day. There is a Kenyan who's going to be attempting to run, I think they're going to be attempting to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Yes, Faith, keep your going. The Kenyan star is sponsored by Nike to run the mile in less than 4 minutes. Is she going to make it? I want her to make it. But what will happen to Kenya tomorrow may affect her psychology, may affect her state of preparedness. So we may miss that record. Some say, why? Why is it important? What I'm just trying to tell you is that what is going to happen tomorrow will be revealed the day after tomorrow, and it will have ramifications. So, why are we here? We are here because some people are just impatient. Yes, some people are very impatient. Kenya got independence in 1963. I was not born. I was born in 65. And this is 2025. So it's 62 years ago that Kenya got independence. And in these 62 years, we've been ruled by a few presidents. Jomo Kenyatta, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and now William Samoei Ruto. Let us not go into who ruled long and so what and so what. It's not important. But all these leaders became our leaders. And mostly in the whole country, so to speak, they were accepted. Yes, there were dissenting voices, and yes, there were those who were calling for opening up of the right to speak, opening up of the democratic space, opening up all that. But generally, the presidents were accepted. Except for one time, maybe two, because there was coup attempts on, there were two coup attempts, but the one that you know the most was the 1982 coup attempt. And I was a student in Nairobi. Luckily, that coup happened very early in the morning, and I think it was on a day that we were not going to school. But I do remember that there were bodies on the street with gunshots. Yes, for those who don't know, I lived in Kenyatta Estate, and I do remember that in the exuberance of that coup, there were students who commandeered a Kenya bus service, and they were driving with it. They were going down Haile Selassie Avenue, going down that side, near railway, before they reached railway. And the GSU opened fire on that bus. And there were many who died. Was there accurate reporting about the civilian death in that coup? No. We will never know. Some people who were killed were picked up and they were gone, and they were probably buried in mass graves. But there were many unaccounted people, and there were their families who mourned quietly after that, because some people were impatient. And therefore, We are where we are right now because there are some people who are impatient. We have the 2010 Constitution. The 2010 Constitution says and spells very clearly how you can change the leadership of the presidency. You can change the president. There are two ways, according to the Constitution, that you can change the president. Of course, the president can be changed because of other circumstances. Those other circumstances are he kicks the bucket. A president can just kick the bucket on their own. Or they can just disqualify themselves, maybe out of medical grounds, or they can just resign. But the other two ways to remove the president are very simple. Wait for 2027 is what I'm talking about. But wait for the next election and put up your guy and elect your guy. Or the other way to remove a president is, of course, the Constitution states that the power belongs to the people, and the people have lent that power to the elected leaders, and the people can demand sometimes, give us our power back. And that's the gist of it. That is the gist of the Gen Z revolution. The Gen Z want the power back because the current president has lied and has mismanaged the purse. It's like in a family. If the father is too drunk and every day the son looks and sees the father is drunk, and one time the son just says, "Hey dad, I know you just got your money, but tonight I'm taking your wallet so that I guard it, so that we can spend the money the right way." That's perhaps what the Gen Zs are trying to do. Rightly or wrongly, I'm not judgmental. Yes, there are some politicians who are also impatient. But I dare say here that prior to the freedom and independence that we enjoy right now, there was a war, and it was a bloody war. You can call it the war for freedom. Some people have called it the Mau Mau War. Well, the Mau Mau were just one section of that fight. Mau Mau, mzungu arudi Ulaya, Mwafrika apate uhuru. I feel that right now there is a Ras Mau. No, how do you call it? Yes, there is a Ras Mau. Ruto arudi Sugoi, Mkenya apate uhuru. That is what some people have brought. They want to remove Ruto, but Ruto was elected with the Constitution. Let us not go into the fact that that election may have been rigged, but he was sworn in. The Supreme Court said he won clearly. The deputy was impeached by a majority of the elected legislators. So there is a group of people who are not happy that they're out there, and they're impatient. They want power. And therefore, this kid who's going to die tomorrow, and this officer who's going to kill tomorrow, they're just puppets. They are people who are controlling them. That is why I'm addressing you guys. I want to remind you that hii Kenya yetu tulimwaga damu. Tuungane sote Kenya, tuwe na umoja. Kenya yetu ni nchi ya ajabu. The day after tomorrow, one of us is going to break the record for the mile. We are known all over the world as a great country. We are known for running. We are known for being a good tourist destination. We are known for just being good people. Whenever other countries were at war, we provided the peacekeepers. We are known for the green. Kenya is an agricultural country. We have tea, we have coffee, we have pyrethrum, we have sisal, we have sugar, we have corn, we have a lot more than some countries have. Agriculture was our main economy. But guess what? It's no longer is. Tourism was a great source of revenue, but the way we are managing, Tanzania is overtaking us, Uganda is overtaking us, Ethiopia is overtaking us. Yes, I'm in the diaspora, and I know how much the diaspora remittance is supporting the Kenya's economy. Now the diaspora remittance has surpassed agriculture, tourism, and guess what? You mismanage that money. Politicians mismanage that money. You hardly hear a politician who has built a dispensary with their salary. You hardly hear of a politician who has built a hospital with their salary. What we hear is a politician who's rich donating millions to the church. The church never builds a hospital. The church, when you donate that money, it pays the pastor and it builds the church. It buys more pews, and that money just disappears. It does not build a school. It doesn't build a hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something about tomorrow. You've seen I'm neither here nor there. I just want those who are impatient, just wait. It's just 2 more years. Get organized. 2 more years. And for you who is in power, I want to tell you this. Stop your lies. Stop stealing and stop wasting. Because when you mismanage resources, you will not know peace. You will be removed. And when you are being removed, tomorrow maybe you will be removed. When you are removed, don't cling on to power. Do not cling on to power. You will hurt us more. When you are being removed, just go like bad soup being removed from the refrigerator. It doesn't complain. It just goes. But you who wants to remove the people in power, if you don't find your way tomorrow, please do not persist. Just wait. If you don't succeed tomorrow, don't keep on putting the country in this situation. I was in Nairobi. Yeah, I was in Nairobi the other week. And the day I was in Nairobi was Maandamano. I believe it was Maandamano Thursday. It caught me by surprise because I didn't really remember or know. But then I did eat tear gas and I did run about away from the tear gas. And let me tell you, as I was running, here comes a guy selling masks. And at that point, I realized that I did not have my wallet. I forgot my wallet. I did not have any cash on me. The only thing I had was my phone. But I was interested in getting the wallet, in getting the mask. So I told the guy, can you just give me a mask on humanitarian grounds? It surprised him. It really surprised him. But he gave it to me. He gave me the mask for free. The next day, he was killed. Or at least that's what I believe, that it was him. He was killed for selling masks. I'm not being judgmental because the person who shot him in the head said it was accidental. He did not mean to. And therefore, we must have that patience to think like that. We cannot start saying that the whole police is killing us. You cannot do that. Please exercise restraint and judgment. And you, officer who is carrying the firearm, let me tell you something. You're not the only ones who have learned basic training. You're not the only one who have had training with firearms. Let me tell you something about firearms, because I'm trained with firearms. When you carry a loaded gun, please point it down. Never, ever point a loaded gun at the public. Never point a loaded gun at anyone unless you intend to shoot them, unless you intend to harm them. I was trained that any time you take your gun and you point, you better shoot, and you better shoot the heart or the head to kill. Because why are we trained like that? Because you have passed judgment that the person you're shooting is posing imminent and dangerous threat to your life and to the life of others. So you don't take a gun and point it or run with it nonchalantly, letting it fire any which way. Handle your gun correctly. Do not discharge. Whoever is giving you loaded guns, I don't know. I don't know what for. So please, tomorrow, remember that. This Kenya is ours. And we want it. We want it peaceful. We can wait. We can wait to have the leadership we want. We've waited 62 years. Some of us have never seen a president we liked, a president we voted for. But we've been patient. Why can't you just wait 2 years and get the president you want? You, Mr. President, why are you abducting people? Why are your officers having killings that are unjustified? Extrajudicial killings. Why are bodies still being fished out of rivers? Why are people disappearing? So tomorrow, if you're removed, I hope you understand why. Own goal. But above all else, all that for tomorrow don't need to happen. People need to stay home. Mr. President, what you can do, somebody else has said it. I'm not the first one to tell you this. Remember when Raila Odinga was feeling very, very shortchanged and he said he was going to swear himself in? Remember that? Did Raila Odinga swear himself in or not? He did. Why? Because we had a little wiser president. Somebody who was able to read the unnatural misty blowing in the air and was able to say, let him do it. Inanihusu be amate kiaje? If Raila Odinga swears himself in, does that make him take this word? No. Does that make him president of Kenya? No. And Raila Odinga was actually smart enough, together with his people, to change that oath so that it doesn't turn into bloodshed. So there was some restraint and there was some pulling back. But what Uhuru did not send the police. Uhuru said, let them do what they want. In fact, he even sent police to just watch and guard, to keep peace. And that day was saved. Bloodshed was saved. Mr. Ruto, tomorrow you can do that. You can send police in those Mariamus. You can send them in those lorries. And guess what? Let them keep the peace. And perhaps the Gen Z will commemorate the anniversary of the death of their comrades without bloodshed. Okay? Now, Wewe Wamunyoro or anybody else who is thirsty for power, Tigamiaki, calm down. Compose yourself. Wait. You can win the presidency without bloodshed. We don't want bloodshed. Kenya yetu ni nchi ya ajabu. Tuungane sote Kenya, tuwe na umoja. Kenya yetu tulimwaga damu, tusimwage damu tena. Tafadhali. Let there be Kenya tomorrow. Let those of us in the diaspora know we have a home. Don't mess it up. Don't mess up the dollar. Don't mess up the Kenya shilling. Don't mess up the airport. Don't mess up the city. It takes much more years to build. Look at Somali. Look at Monrovia. Look at all those countries that had a lot of turmoil. Anyway, you've heard me. And if you've not heard me, let me just end by saying, I've lived in Nairobi and I've seen a lot. But there is one thing I've never seen. Sijaiona piripiri na maua yake chikicha. I have never seen the flower of the pepper. And I don't want to see it tomorrow because I believe it's red. We don't want to see red. Cheers.